Yep. All right, can everyone see this? All right. So we are going to take a look at Microsoft's OneNote. So just a basic introduction to this assistive technology. This app or slash program basically functions as a kind of a virtual notebook or collection of notebooks that allows people to or allows students to basically keep very, very organized track of their notes and take those notes in a wide variety of ways. And I made kind of like the outline of this presentation in OneNote to kind of show off some of the features. So basic organization. Again, the primary purpose of OneNote is a basic organizational features. So think of the organizational structure as like how you would view a typical student's use of notebooks. So there's multiple notebooks. Each of those notebooks have sections. And then each of those sections have pages. And on those pages, there's the notes. So up here is where you see the collection of notebooks. And so you see the two that I have. And so if we just take a look at like history, you have the notebook of history, and then you have the first section, which you could also think of as like chapters. And so for here, I have the Civil War. If I wanted to add another one, say Reconstruction, I just go add section. And boom, there's another one. And then so looking at the Civil War, we have this page pre-made, Battle of Fort Bragg. If we wanted to add another page, you just go to add page. And then up here at the top, that is where you put the title of the header. So let's say Getty's address. That's not how you spell address. There we go. And then if I wanted to, so back to Battle of Fort Bragg, there's already a note here that you can see. And then if I want to add another note, I just click here and I can say at so there's an extra note at the Battle of Fort Bragg, 10,000 Union soldiers fought. So there's the basic organization. You have your notes, you have your pages, you have your sections, and then you have your notebooks. So the basic note taking for this program, you can do two ways. One is you just click wherever you want to put the note. There's no in-text restriction. You can just write wherever you want. And then you can move them around wherever you want. And then the other way to take notes, and this is more useful if you have a stylus or a smart pen and you're using a touchscreen, is you can just draw the notes. And then if I want to, I go over here. And then if I right click and select this, it automatically, well, this got converted to a shape. It will automatically convert the drawing to the text. It's not perfect. It's usually pretty good at picking up on capitalization, but I have noticed, and it was on display there, it's not always an exact science. And then the other way of taking notes, which is very important for the universal design aspect of this, is the dictation and the narration. So as long as you give the OneNote access to your microphone, you can go over here, select dictate, wait for it to load, And then it should type out whatever I'm saying. And then I can have it narrate. If I go over here and just highlight this, and then if I click on the immersive reader feature, hit play. And I don't know if you all can hear it because of Zoom. It'll narrate the whatever text you highlight, and it does in a pretty inflective way. It's not like Siri or another program where it's just going to be saying each word very blockily. And then from there, there's multiple different types of notes. You can put in tables. You can put in different files, printouts, pictures, videos. If you link a URL to a YouTube video, you can play it within the program. You don't have to go to YouTube in a different web browser. You can record audio and play it there. Different meeting details. And then the last thing, which is really interesting for math, is there's a pretty extensive math symbol. There's a pretty extensive math symbol interface you can use. So if I want to put in a fraction equaling a algebraic exponent, I could go put those in. 4/3 is x to the 5th power. It's very easy and it's very intuitive. So those are kind of the general features of OneNote. Depending on what your interest or specific use is, you could go more in depth for that. But what it really is and what it really boils down to is a virtual organization of notes with multiple ways that you can take those notes. And so some general background. OneNote was announced back in 2002 with the first version of OneNote coming out in November of 2003. This is kind of just a picture of what the original version looks like. If you all remember or are old enough to remember what tabs used to look like. OneNote itself was developed by Microsoft, and it's part of the Microsoft Office suite. And then it had 6 different iterations over the years. They were usually named after the year they were released, similar to other Microsoft programs. But the latest version is simply called OneNote, and that came out in 2019. So cost and accessibility. OneNote is available in Windows Store, Mac, iOS, Android, and even through most internet browsers. I looked, it's available through Chrome, through Firefox, through Internet Explorer, and through Safari. And any device that uses any version of Windows 10 already will have OneNote installed on it. And OneNote is essentially free to use. While there's a premium version, all it really does is increase cloud storage space for varying subscription amounts and add some aesthetic options that are unavailable in the free version. Because I'm running on Windows 10, I already have it. And what the aesthetic options boil down to is different pen types. Some of the more colorful and I guess outlandish types of ink for the pen, if that's your thing. And another thing you can do is you have the presets of different pens and writing utensils, or virtual pens and writing utensils up here. You can actually make a custom one. So if I want to make a custom pen, I can pick the color. Again, there's the premium designs down here. Make it thicker or thinner. And then moving on. The biggest pros for OneNote, it's free. It's essentially universally available. Pretty much any device, smart device you can use, it has some way of having OneNote on there. It can be used by a wide variety of students. There's a lot of different universal design stuff that, if you have a student who might have trouble hearing or might have trouble reading, you can have the narrator read it. If you have a student who has trouble writing or typing, you can use the dictation or you can use just the draw feature. And it's not very, the interface doesn't require a lot of like technical stuff. All you really have to do, click on the spot, and depending on your note-taking reference, you can either type, draw, dictate. It's very accessible. OneNote is part of Microsoft Suite. So it's, and going off of that, it's constantly being updated on a regular basis. It has a very gentle learning curve too. If you have a specific thing you need for OneNote, or a specific note-taking need, if you go into the program, it'll only really take about 15 to 30 minutes to really figure out and get going. So cons. The universal design of OneNote is vast, but it's not necessarily deep. It's not a substitute for assistive technologies that are for a very, very, very specific disability or learning disability. Excuse me. It can be a good buffer or bridge, but it's not going to. It's not in the place of something that's specifically designed to aid students who have very specific learning disabilities. And then the organizational structure, while it's very intuitive, it is very rigid. The hierarchy of notebook, section, page, note, you don't really get to mess with that. It's the way it is. It's nice, but if you want something else, you're kind of locked into that. But that being said, it is a very good program. Even coming up with cons, I sort of had to scrape the bottom of the barrel. And yeah, it's all pretty intuitive. Does anyone have any questions? Sorry, let me pull up participants. Okay, does anyone have any questions?
I personally do not.
Okay, thank you guys.
All right, who would like to go next?
I can go next if no one else wants to.
Okay, sounds good.
Give me just 1 second. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so just before we get started, I won't be able to share it in present mode so that I can share how to use the assistive technology on the presentation. It does not work in presentation mode. So we're just gonna be in editing mode on Google Docs. So my assistive technology is Snap and Read. And we'll just get started with how to use it. So so you have to go to your extensions. Once you download it, you just click on it. That is weird. I'm already logged in. This is also one of the cons that you'll see later. I guess I will not be able to use it doing Zoom. Okay, I'm just gonna present it. That's amazing. So the first thing, the technology is on the right side of your screen when you download it and are able to use it. But I can't show you while sharing my screen on Zoom. But there's this little button that you can see at the top called the Read Aloud tool. And to use it, you click the Read Aloud tool button. It's the first one at the very top, and then you will click where you want to start reading. So if we look at this little excerpt, you would just click, oh, my bad. You would just click where you want to start reading, and it'll start reading aloud to you. The next thing is the highlight feature. So using the read aloud tool, you can click the read aloud tool button, and then you highlight the text you want to read. So looking at this like pink color excerpt, that would be the reading that you highlighted, and then it will just read what you highlight. And then going on to the line by line tool, it's also part of the read aloud tool, but it has a separate button. So it helps readers keep their spot in a reading, and it will highlight line by line. So as you can see in like the blue colored readings, it will start on the first line that you choose, and then it will just follow where it's reading. So if you can see like the almost purple color, that's it highlighting which line it's reading on. And to use that, you will just click the line by line button and then click the text that you would like to read. And then next is the OCR tool. You can use it to read inaccessible text like PDFs, infographics, images, and graphs. You can't use the read aloud tool for those, so that's where this comes in handy. And it is this icon that is in the right corner of the presentation. So to use it, you will just press the tool button and it shows up as like a blue cross, and then you make a box around the information you want to read. So as you can see in the little picture below it, that's the little blue cross, and then you just use your mouse and click your mouse and highlight what you want read in the PDF or image or graph. And then next is the translation tool. It enables translate, and you can choose your language when you go to functions. So you'll click the translation button, which is in the right corner. It's a little A and then a symbol. And then you can also, after you highlight your text to choose what you want translated, it will read it aloud to you in both languages, the language it starts in, and you can also get it read in the language that you translate it to. So that's very helpful. And then you will just highlight whatever you want translated, and it'll translate it for you in just a new pop-up window. The text leveler tool, it changes harder vocabulary in an article to easier vocabulary. It looks like the icon in the right corner of the presentation. So you'll select the text leveler tool, and then you click at the top of the article anywhere, and it will change the entire article you're reading to easier vocabulary. So as you can see, the top little sentence is the original text. Something is rocking the massive something is rocking the massive super volcano beneath Yellowstone National Park. And using the text leveler tool, it will change it to something is rocking the huge super volcano beneath Yellowstone National Park. So this just helps with students who don't have a huge vocabulary yet and maybe may struggle and get a little stressed if they see bigger words. So who this will benefit, it will benefit students who are slow readers or are learning to read, so they can hear it aloud and see the words at the same time and start to learn how those words are pronounced at their own pace. It will help students who have English as their second language. The translate tool is very helpful with that. As you can see, the words in English and whichever language you choose to translate it in, and it's very helpful that it allows you to hear the words as well in both languages that you choose. This will also help students who get distracted very easily. I know when I was in elementary school, I could not focus on anything. And I think it would be really helpful just to be able to hear it aloud at my own pace, and then go back and maybe use the text leveler tool and use words that aren't as hard, just to keep me more engaged and have a better understanding of what I just read. And this also helps students who are working on growing their vocabulary, especially the text leveler tool. It allows you to see the words in like their original presence, and then it also helps you see words that are a little easier to understand if you don't have a huge vocabulary, and then students will grasp those new words, those bigger words, and they'll be like, oh, this word is similar to this word, and then they'll be able to use the bigger words. So some pros and cons to Snap and Read. With my experience, it's very easy to personalize. You can change the voice that's speaking. You can change a lot of different things in the settings, and you can choose whichever language you want translated to. It's very easy to use. The toolbar always stays on the side for easy access. And it's very easy to download. It took me like 2 seconds to download it and start working. So that was really nice for me. I know sometimes people will get frustrated with technology and just like throw it in the trash can and never try and use it again. So that was really helpful for me, especially. Some cons, I did a little bit of research. You can't convert selected text into an MP3 or other audio files to listen at a later time. This can cause troubles with students who maybe learn at a different pace and want to take their lessons into like their home life, or want to maybe listen to it at home just for better understanding, or maybe they're not very good at comprehension, so they want to work on it more at home. You're not able to do that with Snap and Read. And the OCR reader is not very accurate. I was using it on a document earlier and it read half the words wrong. So it's a great program, but there are a few things that don't work. And then another con that was not in my presentation, obviously, is that you cannot use Snap and Read while presenting a slide, and you also cannot use it while sharing your screen on Zoom, which is very frustrating and very difficult, because to me it's a very nice program, but not being able to do that is very frustrating. Especially when you're a teacher, there's going to be more instances where it's going to be inaccessible for you, and that it's a little bit frustrating. And then pricing for Snap and Read. You can try it for free. I'm not sure how long the free trial is. And then for an individual, it will be $60 per year. And you can sign up on snapandread.com. And then if you're doing a team, you get unlimited staff and 150 students for $1,800 a year. And then if you're purchasing it district-wide, you will get unlimited staff, unlimited students, and premium Google integrations for K-12, and that'll be 25 cents to $2 per year per student. Are there any questions? Oh, hold on, let me get back to it. Okay. Questions?
I personally do not have any. I'm not sure about the other two.
Okay, amazing. That concludes my presentation.
All right. I can go next. All right, I'll just go ahead and all right, can everybody see this? I'm gonna assume yes. All right.
Yes.
Awesome, thanks. So the application that I was assigned is an application that's called My Study Life. So what is My Study Life? It is essentially a planning app or planner app as a substitute for a physical planner that you might use to plan out your classes and your schedule and stuff like that. The logo's on the right. And some of the features include it has a course calendar, so you can put in courses and their times. And it also has like a meeting location and room number. And I'd say it's pretty detailed with regards to course calendar. It also allows you to set, like, let's say you don't, for Labor Day, you don't have classes. You can set that as a holiday and automatically it'll just block off all of your classes that day. So I think that's kind of a nice feature. It also has a tasks feature, which is mainly used for assignments, but you can also divide your assignments into subtasks and things like that. So if you have a larger project, you can assign yourself specific due dates and then kind of divide that up that way. And then there's also reminders for both assignments and tests. And as far as the platform that's available on, it is cloud-based and it's completely cross-platform. So that's a feature that I really like. You can get it if you have a Windows or a Mac or an iOS device, Android device, just as long as you can access the internet or, if you have a smartphone, it will be there and it'll sync across all of your devices. So if you need to add an assignment, regardless of what device you're on, it'll sync across everything, which is really nice. And one of the most important features is that it's completely free. So yeah, and there's no hidden fees or anything. It's 100% free, which is amazing. So let's do the demonstration. So this is what the website looks like. The app is very similar. It just looks basically smaller, but it has kind of the same tabs on the left. So basically what you can do is you can create an academic year. At the top right, it says create new academic year. And right now I just have this sample one, which is 2021 to 2022. And then I have a term created for a first semester. So if you have semesters, trimesters, whatever, it allows you to break that into terms. I haven't added any classes, but every class that you have is based on a subject area. So let's say I want to create a class for this class, Tech in the Classroom. Then I can do that and I can say, okay, I'm going to create my class for this. And let's say, for this one, we don't have a meeting time, but let's say we did. Let's say it's at room 55 in building Lindquist. I don't know. And then we add a time, Tuesday from 9 to 9:50. Sure. And it repeats every Tuesday, ending on, I don't know, 18th of December. Let's say that. Now we have a class, and it appears if we go to our calendar, 9 to 9:50, technical classroom. So you can kind of organize your calendar in this way, and then you can pull up the calendar view, and you'll be able to see all of your classes for the week, which is nice. And then you can add an exam. Let's say we had an exam for this class, or let's say, I don't know, for intro, wind and brass. I think we have an exam on the 22nd. And we can say that'll be at 8 a.m. Oops. And now I have that exam created. Boom. And the other nice thing about the exams is that you can basically set it so that it reminds, this is kind of a general setting. You can set when it will remind you about the exam that you have coming up, but you can just put that in and then you're good to go. Then you can create tasks, as I mentioned. So let's say for my intro and practicum, I have a reflection due on Sunday. I can just add that. And you can also add some details about the assignment. Submit to icon. Make sure I do it by then. Boom, it's here. And the nice thing about it also is that I can I think this is kind of a cool feature. You can have a progress meter for yourself. So let's say you've got 15% complete, 30% complete, whatever. And it allows you to kind of keep that progress for yourself as far as how much you've completed the particular assignment. And then when it's done, you can check it off the box and you can say, I'm 100% complete. Great, I completed it. Or I can set it back to complete. So yes, as I mentioned, we've got course calendar, we've got exams, and we've got our tasks, basically like assignments, and our course calendar. And then I also think that this dashboard is pretty nice because it basically will just show all of your upcoming classes and assignments and tasks and things like that. So it's kind of a nice, just quick look into what you might have for this particular coming week. So that is the demonstration, and the app is pretty much the same. So students who will benefit from this, honestly, it's a technology that pretty much anybody can use, and I think that could benefit for it. Anybody that likes to use a planner might find this to be a very useful application, especially because with a planner, you run the risk, like a physical planner, you run the risk of potentially leaving it at school or at home, and then you don't have it with you all the time. But you don't have that issue with My Study Life because you're going to have hopefully at least a device wherever you go. And if not, you could use somebody else's device and log into your account and see everything still. But particularly for a use as an assisted technology, I think those with conditions that might affect organizational ability could benefit from something like this. So particularly students that maybe have ADHD or ADD, this could be helpful, especially with the reminders and the push notifications that they might receive in order to help stay on task. Also, those who have anxiety or depression, sometimes a symptom of anxiety or depression is falling behind on due dates or missing classes. And sometimes it's, something where they're aware that it's the next day, but other times it just can be kind of debilitating and you can forget. And so potentially for anybody with those conditions, I think My Study Life could benefit especially if they have the symptom of it affecting their organizational ability. So costs, once again, it is completely free. And the other thing that's really nice about it, I mean, we just kind of walked through the application, but there weren't any advertisements anywhere. Most of the time, if you have a free software, it has to be littered with ads. And that's what you'll find with most free planner apps, I would say, that are on the App Store, the Google Play stores. They might be free, but you pay in ad revenue and in them potentially tracking your phone or whatever. But My Study Life doesn't do any of that. If you're wondering, the way that they make money is that sometimes schools will purchase like an enterprise subscription for a whole school district, but I'm not even sure why they would do that because it's completely free for an individual user anyways. So I don't know. But as far as the pros and cons, so as I mentioned, it's completely free. It's cloud-based and cross-platform, so it syncs regardless of where you are. There are no advertisements, which leads to, in my opinion, a very clean user interface that's not, just clunky with advertisements and things. And it is rich with features already, but they're also really good about support and constantly adding features to the application. It's not like they're not still in development. Even when I was looking on the App Store and the Google Play Store for the purposes of this assignment, anytime anybody submitted a review that said, hey, I wish we had this feature, there was someone from the support team that responded to that message and was like, hey, we'll consider adding this to the next update as a feature. And so you can tell that they're really listening to the people that use their platform and are really trying to make it as good as possible for everybody, which I think is really important. So cons, I would say that, for some students, the initial work of setting up like your calendar and your tasks and all that, I mean, for some people, I think they prefer that and they like writing everything in a planner. But especially now, I would say with features like Canvas, platforms like Canvas or Google Classroom, sometimes you kind of get your assignments and your tasks and your exams already created in a Google Classroom or a Canvas page or something like that. So maybe if somebody's class runs like that, or the majority of their classes, then maybe they wouldn't find this application very useful. But anybody that really would want a planner app, I think could benefit from using some of this. And that's not really a con, it's just sort of the nature of this sort of application is that maybe some people won't find it useful. But and then it just has some like very small missing features. So for instance, let's say a particular class is canceled on one day, you can't delete that event without marking the whole day as a holiday, which would affect all of your classes. So that might be a little bit annoying. You also can only set the days that you want to be reminded for assignments. You can't set a particular time on that day, which is maybe a little annoying because you just sort of get this push notification at a random time during the day. And then I actually think that this is a feature that to me, I think is the most outstanding that's missing, is that if you have an old class and like you use this application for multiple semesters, you can't just archive or something like that. An old class, you have to physically delete it. So if you ever wanted to look back at your old terms, that's kind of annoying. You end up having to kind of delete everything every semester. And then there's no Google Calendar or iCal integration. So if you put your whole calendar in My Study Life, you have to go to My Study Life in order to look at that calendar. But in my opinion, these are all very minor features. I think in general, the platform is very robust. And once again, it's completely free, which is pretty amazing. And I think it could be really useful for anybody that might want to have a digital planner. I actually, fun fact, I actually used this in high school for a while. I kind of stopped when I entered college and now I'm in grad school. But when I was in high school, I used My Study Life because I thought it was by far the best planner app that I had tried. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. Anybody have any questions? If not, I think we can go on to our final presentation of the night.
Okay, so can everybody see that okay?
Yep.
Cool. All right, so my presentation is on the assistive technology called Read and Write. Fun fact about this particular thing for me, I used Read and Write back in high school, and it's been on my computer ever since, and and it's just a really fantastic program that I'd like to share with you. So this is a video about how to use Read and Write.
Hi there. Today we're going to see how Read and Write can help when you're using Google Docs or just browsing the internet. Okay, let's start by seeing what we can do in Google Docs. Here's the purple Read and Write icon at the top of your screen. Click on it and this toolbar appears. First of all, let's read some text out loud. Put the cursor anywhere you want. Click play and it starts reading like this.
Honey is a kind of sugary syrup.
And you can stop at any time. Pick a word, like this, and use the dictionary to explain what it means. And there's a picture dictionary right here too. Click on the prediction icon, and Read and Write will help you by guessing words that you're typing. Put your mouse over the suggested word to hear it read aloud.
Insects.
If that's the word you're looking for, click to insert it. Click here near the right of the toolbar to change settings if you want to. There are lots of different reading voices to choose from. Hi.
Yeah, it goes on for a while, but it's a really fantastic video that was really helpful when making this presentation. So, the basic features of Read and Write. The most prominent feature of Read and Write, arguably, is text-to-speech. And so, when you are in a document, or if you're on a website, this feature will read the words, the passages, or even entire documents aloud. And it will do this by when highlighting the full sentence, and then it will also highlight each individual word as it's being said. So that's a really helpful tool for students who might have troubles with reading comprehension. The next feature is text and picture dictionaries, and so this feature basically provides definitions for highlighted words, and the picture dictionary aspect is really cool too, because it will give you an image that is based on the word that you highlighted. And this also helps with word comprehension and vocabulary. And then the next feature is vocabulary lists. So basically, this creates a list of words that you can put into another document, and it will automatically make a new document featuring that list. And so you select the words you want to put in that list, and it will automatically give you the definitions for each word, as well as images of the word from the widget symbols, and also it will provide a column on the side for to take notes that you can edit. And then the next feature is Check It. So this feature will proofread what the user has written, and it will check things like grammar, spelling, capitalization, punctuation, and verb tense. And then this one is one of the premium features. We'll get to what that entails a little later, but Audio Maker is a feature that will convert what you've highlighted in your text to an audio file that will automatically download to whatever your device you're using Read and Write on. And then the last feature is Talk and Type. So basically this is akin to a lot of the user platforms like Dragon Naturally Speaking, where you say stuff, what you want to say in the document, and it will convert it to text. So the benefits for Read and Write, the individuals who will benefit from what Read and Write provides might include students who have difficulties with reading and writing comprehension and application, students who might have learning disabilities will benefit from this, and students who are in an ELL program will also benefit from this, mainly because of how versatile the program is. It really broadens the capacity for the program to be able to do all of this stuff regarding language and comprehension and writing. And so it provides a plethora of solutions and support systems to the various learning demands that students will have. And it can be for literally any age, like from elementary school through college. Like I sometimes use some of these features as well. So the costs of Read and Write, this is kind of an interesting aspect. So Read and Write is available as a multi-platform application through a company called TextHelp, who also makes several other educational software platforms that are akin to Read and Write, stuff for math and various other aspects of academics. So the application, and also it comes as a Google Chrome extension, they are both available for free in the basic version, which includes like the main core features like the text-to-speech and stuff like that. But the premium version comes with additional features like the Audio Maker, and this one is under a paywall of an annual subscription, and so they give you a 30-day free trial period to test it out. And so TextHelp offers various options for pricing, like group pricing and individual licenses. Individual licenses are $145 per year, which is pretty expensive, but for educators, they do offer a free premium version if you fill out an application like detailing your school's administration contact information and stuff. So that's a very helpful aspect that they've provided. I should note though that Read and Write Gold, which is a fully licensed edition of Read and Write, is actually available for free through the University of Iowa because TextHelp has organized with a lot of the higher education institutions to be able to provide free versions of their software for college students, so that's a really cool aspect. And so here are the pros and cons of Read and Write. So pros, it's it's very wide ranging in terms of the many different platforms you can use it on. Like, you can use it on a computer, you can use it on a phone or a tablet, and also you can use it as a built-in Chrome extension for your Chrome profile. And so, because the company TextHelp is official partners with Microsoft and Google Cloud, this means that all of TextHelp's platforms, but also Read and Write, they are compatible with many of the software platforms that are used commonly by teachers and students in the classroom. And so the cons, the price is very expensive for an individual license, especially for students. It's $145 per year, so it can be pretty pricey if you run into problems with getting one of the educator licenses for free. But as far as technical difficulties, the only one that I encountered when I was fooling around with Read and Write was when I was using the picture dictionary aspect. Sometimes when I would click on a word, it would not give a picture for that word, but it was only very occasionally that would happen, in which case the student would hopefully be able to, like, Google what the word meant, and the images in Google Images would pop up for that particular thing if they were struggling with visualizing that word. But aside from that, the technology that is built into Read and Write is very reliable. And so I wanted to test out some of this stuff, so I'm on the NAFME page, and so I can play the text.
The 2014 music standards are all about music literacy. The standards emphasize conceptual understanding in areas that reflect the actual processes in which musicians engage. The standards cultivate a student's ability to carry out the three artistic processes of creating, performing, and responding. These are the processes that
Okay. So then you can click on Picture Dictionary, and it will give you a picture for words, various things like that. Also, if I highlight this, set of words and click on this audio maker,
creating, performing, and responding.
it's what I highlighted. So it's a really cool tool. Also, what Madison was talking about having a program that you have the ability to download the audio of what you highlighted. That's a very, very handy feature that Read and Write has. So if you are able to get the premium version and be able to actually pursue that free version for educators, I would highly, highly recommend that, because it's a very handy feature to be able to download the audio, especially for students who want to be able to process that information, like, orally. It's a really good feature for that. So I think, does anybody have any questions?
I do not personally.
Okay. Cool.